Good morning. I hope all is well at everyone. First off, happy holidays. I hope you guys' Christmas went well. Mine was it was nice. It was a blessing to be able to spend Christmas with my family under one roof. That was a blessing. Um, so what I came on here to talk to you guys about was I recently had posted a video about um, setting yourself up to fail before you even know before you even do it. I'm like, sometimes you don't know that you do it. And that's when I realized that I had a problem with listening and as well as applying. Um, Sometimes we don't even know we do it. And another thing that I realized that I did, so the things I'm going to talk to you guys about is like self reflection and how to point out negative things that you do that you don't know you do. Sometimes it could be um, generational curse, or sometimes it just be, bad habits that you picked up and you never dropped because no one ever really pointed them out to you. But when you're trying to grow within self, whether it be a better mom or be a better wife or be a better overall person, you really have to sit down and analyze yourself. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you don't like what you find, and I'm one of those people who didn't like what I found. And another thing that I found out about myself is that you know how a lot of people do things behind the scenes. Like, I'm one of the behind the scenes kind of girl, and I don't always look for recognition for everything that I do. I don't look for recognitions, but sometimes it'd be nice to say, hey, good job, or let people know that their efforts went unnoticed. So one time, no, actually not even one time. I want to say like maybe last week or the week, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. The place where I work at caught fire. Now, I am a first responder, and my job is to report to wherever there's an incident. And this particular time, it was a fire, and the fire was like really big. And the first thing came to my mind was, why did not the sprinklers go off, nor any smoke alarms? Because we do warehouse, so I mean that type of stuff should be working, right? According to OSHA, right? But this particular night, maybe they were doing some maintenance on it. I'm unsure. I really don't know, but they didn't go off. So, this particular night, actually, it was the morning. It was like right after our break. So I do work third shift. So, this like around 3:40 in the morning, a fire broke out, and it was like a really big fire. And this guy um, slightly got burned, slightly, but he did get burned. It wasn't nothing major. Um, and I remember him just like running, and he's like taking off his clothes. And I remember running behind him, and I'm like, hey, what's wrong? What's going on? Like, and he's just like running and throwing off his clothes. I'm just like, hey. So I was not able to catch up with him. So I proceeded to go to the back where he was running from. So I wanted to investigate because, first off, like I said, I'm a first responder. So if anything is wrong or anything that needs to be taken care of, I should be aware of. So I go to the back where I see him running from, and I'm just like, hoping to find someone back there who can answer my questions. So as I go to proceed to go back there, I see a cloud of smoke. Like, it was so thick. I'm like, what in the world? Like, I'm like, what is going on back here? Like, where is all this smoke coming from? And then I see one of my setup men running with a fire extinguisher. So I'm just like, oh my God. And whatever I was holding in my hand, I honestly can't even tell you guys what I did with it. I just remember taking off running, looking for a fire extinguisher. And my job thought it'd be really clever to paint red poles to indicate that the fire extinguisher were there. But when you're in a state of panic right now, like the last thing you think about is what color was the pole? What color was the pole? Where they put the medical stuff at. So I remember running. Now we were still told at our job. So I remember running, looking for a fire extinguisher. And then I was just like, oh yeah. Finally, when I, tucked myself into calming down because this was like really big. And so I remember getting a fire extinguisher. Like, oh my God, those things are super freaking heavy. Like, they did not train us to use these things, and I think that it'd be better off to train us to use them and how to prepare to carry them and how to properly use them, because some people are new to using them and never used them before. And I feel like if you are a first responder or you have to do anything with medical or anything that puts you in, like, to have to deal with other people and injuries, like, I feel like you should be trained, like properly trained on what to do in case of a fire. If anyone is like burned, how to properly treat it. Like, we wasn't trained. It's a lot of things that we should be trained for that they didn't train us for. So a lot of times we get put in situations where we have to quickly think and act. Like, you really have no time to think. It's just like you have to get in there and do what you feel like is best for overall the people's safety, and not only their safety but your safety. So this fire is huge. I finally find a fire extinguisher and I'm running with it. Now, mind you guys, I do have on steel toes. Those things are like maybe 20 pounds or so each shoe. So I'm running and I'm running. There's oil everywhere. Like, and that's what's so crazy because there's a lot of oil on the floor. There's a lot of metal like on the floor. So I mean, it's a really messy scene, and it's terrible. Like, and here I am running with this heavy fire extinguisher and these heavy boots on, and I'm trying to get to the fire. So I see the fire, and there are also my other setup man that I told you guys about a few moments ago, who I seen running with a fire extinguisher. So that's what made me go and get a fire extinguisher. So I'm going, and then I see us both over there trying to put it out, and then unaware that it was another guy on the other side that we could not see at all, and they were over there trying to put out the fire. This story is actually going somewhere, you guys. I just wanted to fill you guys in on the details so you guys can understand why I felt the way that I felt after. So we're trying to get it out, but then a airline blows, and then it caused the fire to come shooting at us. Now, I'm only 5'2", you guys, so the next thing I know, fire is like shooting over my head. Scariest thing ever, because I'm face to face with a decision that I'm face to face with a situation that I was not properly trained for, that I had no way of how to get it under control or what to do. So my thing was to, like, hey, you know what, screw this. I got a husband to go home to, I have children to go home to, I have a life to live after this job, and it's like, it's not worth it because y'all refuse to hook the systems back up, or whatever the case may or may not be, or why the systems were down, which is not cool at all, because a lot of people's lives were in danger that day. And so after the airline bust and the fire got to shooting at us, my initial thought was to just get everybody out. Like, there's nothing we can do. We cannot contain this fire. We cannot put it out. It's 3 of us, and we all have fire extinguishers. Like, we cannot get this fire out. Like, this fire is like massive, you guys. Like, it was already burning things on the ceiling, and stuff were like falling from the ceiling. So I'm just like, this is out of my control. We're gonna leave this to the professionals. So I'm just like, hey, you guys, like, let's go. Like get out. We have to get out. And like I told you guys, there was like oil and everything on the floor. There was rags around. It was like freaking, what are those things it's called that you put on the back of the forklift? Those things. So it was just like, it was a mess back there. So I'm just like, hey, it's time to go. Let's get out of here. And so everybody that I'm running past, I'm running and I'm just like, hey, like, get out, like, get out, get out, get out. So most of the people get out. Well, not even most, like everybody that's on third shift, they finally get out. So I remember running to the security office and I'm telling the security, like, hey, there's a fire going on back there. You need to alarm everybody over the PA and let everybody know that, hey, it's a fire and everybody needs to get out. It's not a small fire. This is a firefight that could potentially take the building down. So everybody needs to get out. So he calls the fire department and he letting people know, hey, get out. It's a fire. So we all finally get out. And then we have safe zones that we walk to in case of a fire or whatever. So most people standing there recording like jerks. And I'm just like, hey, y'all need to get away from the building in case the building decides to blow or whatever the case is. Like, we could be a safe distance away from it. So everybody finally goes to the safe zone. And then the supervisor comes out and she takes attendance of each department and who's scheduled to work and stuff like that. So it's cold. We're outside for like 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. And the fire department come and they finally put out the fire. And it takes them like a good 40 minutes to like put out the fire. And they finally get the fire out. And like I told you guys, I started like around 3:40 something that morning. And then they finally say, hey, you guys can go home. Now my shift is from 10 to 6. Here it is like 5:15. Hey, you guys can go home. And it's like, hey, we sit outside all of that time just for you guys to say, oh, it's like 45 minutes left in the shift. You might as well go home. And I'm just like, it bothered me a little bit because it's like you guys knew we were unable to go back into the building and work, but yet y'all still managed to make us stay outside for 2 hours. Interesting. So anyway, they allowed us to go home, but they made us come back to work that same night. Now that fire was that morning, was Thursday morning, and we had to work Thursday night. So they made us come back to work and work. Now this is my problem. I risked my life to make sure the safety of others were okay, to make sure everybody else got out safely. There was things that I was not trained for, but I still stepped up to the plate and I took the initiative to put myself out there to make sure people got home to their families. So my supervisor comes in. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And now I told you guys I work from 10 to 6. So my supervisor coming around 1 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, hey, Anitra, there's 3 things that I got for you. Now, me, in my mindset, because I'm always I'm not so liked there. I'm the outspoken one, and sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I'm okay with it because I am who I am. And I felt like there's a reason why I spoke up. But she comes to me and she's like, hey, there's 3 things for you. And I'm just like, oh, wow, what did I do now? Like, hey, what did I do now? And then she's all like, first off, I want to thank you for, she's like, I want to thank you because, from my understanding, I heard that you help get people out. That's a slap to the face. Because first off, you try to give me like a backhand compliment. But you undermined the most important part that I played in this. And like I said, I'm really behind the scenes kind of person. I don't really look for recognition because there's a lot of things that I do not get credit for. There's a lot of things that I do that get swept under the rug. Other people get credit for my stuff. And I'm not the one to say, "Hey, that was me," or "Hey, you did." That's not me. It's not me at all. Sometimes it get played out a lot there because, like I said, I'm not really well liked there because I'm the type of person. I'm justice. I see justice in everything, and sometimes it can become a hindrance. But sometimes the people needs that, and I'm the type of person. I'm for the people. I'm for the people, and sometimes company don't like people that's for the people. They try to get rid of them, but because we're in a pandemic, y'all get my drift. But I goes to say that it's just like yeah. I heard you played a part in getting people out, and then my face just went blank. Like, no, you did not. Just undermine what I just did. Like, no, you did not sit here. No, you did not build up the courage to come give me a compliment on getting people out when I was face to face with a fire that could have burnt off my face or caught my hair on fire, or you pretty much took out my life and I wouldn't been able to come home to my husband and my children. But you want to thank me for help getting people out. Interesting. Interesting. Like, you people are very, very funny. And that's the thing that I wanted to talk about. That brought me up to my point of why this video is being made. Is that we always try to seek glory in men. And I thank God because God's been working with me. I've been praying for some things and I've been asking for some things. And a lot of things is I don't, like I said, I don't always want to seek the good job from men because I'm not a people pleaser. I don't do things to get attention or to get praise for it. That's not me. I genuinely do things because I pray and hope that if I ever find myself in a situation that someone be kind enough or be, kind enough to step out aside of their fear and do things like, or set aside their differences and help me, because there's a lot of times at the job that I'm currently at where, because I'm not well liked, so people will go out of their way to let it be known. And me, I see you, but I don't care. You're not gonna stop me for being who I am. And I am a very helping person, and I do my best to help whoever I see or whoever I may think need help, or I'm always doing my best to try to encourage and uplift, whether you like me or not. Baby, I'm not here for you. I don't get no pleasure out of helping you. My thing is that this is who I am. This is one of the characteristics that God put inside of me, and he gets all the praise and glory, not you. I know you don't like me. I really don't care. Honestly, I don't care. But me, who I am and who God designed me to be and who God is bringing me to the front to be, doesn't need your approval. Sorry guys, that's my refrigerator. Does that from time to time. I really don't know why. It's really loud. But who God designed me to be and who I am destined to be doesn't need your approval. But if that means that I have to, from time to time, step in and show a kind gesture, or step in and show you, hey, what you didn't stop me, but I'm still going to be here to help you to get to where I'm going or what God got for me, I have no problem. And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, and I'm going to be really sincere about it because that's who I am. That's what God put inside of me. So that was another thing that I had a problem with, is that me and my supervisor, we bumped heads ever since she became a supervisor, and we did not get along. But the fact that I didn't bow down and kiss her behind she personally had it out for me. And there were ways where she always tried to find ways to get me fired. But by the grace of God, thank you, Jesus, it didn't work. It didn't work. And I feel like I owe God that, because whether He told me to help people that want my head on a platter, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, Jesus, Lord, now you know. I still do it, and I do it with a smile. And I thank God for that. And sometimes we have to step outside of us, because there's something bigger than us, and sometimes we don't understand it, and sometimes you just refuse. But I mean, it's not for their glory, it's not for their bragging right, neither is it for my bragging right. It's for God. It's the glory goes to God. And I thank God for allowing me to set aside my differences. And even though it was a half compliment, or it was to undermine the importance that I played in the situation. And I mean, it bothered me. It really did bother me. And I was just like, Lord, like, if it probably wasn't for me, this place probably would have blew up with all of us inside of there. But Lord, thank you. And I like to just say, Lord, thank you for putting me at the right place at the right time. Thank you when it was so chaotic and it was so stressful. And when times I drew a blank, Lord, you sent the Holy Spirit to guide me. Thank you for the Holy Spirit. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to jump into action when most people froze. There was other first responders there, and they was looking like deer in the headlights. But Lord, you allow me. Never in my life have I used a fire extinguisher. Never in my life was I ever faced with a problem this big. Never. But I was able to show up, and I was able to do what was necessary and do what was needed to try. And that didn't work. I was able to still be calm while everybody else frantic, and get everybody out, majority of the people out. And I was still able to relay messages on how, hey, we need to get people out. There's a fire going on that we can I mean, there was a lot of importance, a lot of small details, and there was a lot of things that I played into. But the fact for you to just come and say, hey, I understand that you helped get some people out. What you mean help get people wouldn't gotten out if it weren't for me? What do you mean help get people out? Nobody knew about this fire besides the man who got burnt, and the other two men that was trying to put it out along with myself. That's 4 people. 4 people. 4. And that fire was way bigger than what we thought it was. And you had the audacity to come and undermine my importance that I played in the situation. Oh, it bothered me. But I had to go to God about it. And the fact that God said, I'll make your enemies be your footstool. That was enough for me. So all glory and praise go to God. And I just wanted to come on here and share this story with you guys, and let you guys know that sometimes playing in the background, God will bring you to the front. And it'd be so big and so broad that people gonna have to recognize you. People have no choice but to see you. I mean, they seen you before, and they painted this light of you, or this negativity of you, or it made you seem like this huge, can't get along, problem with authority type of person. And honestly, that's not me. I challenge what needs to be challenged. A lot of people don't do well with conflict, and I'm not a conflicted person. I'm not a person that like conflict either. But wrong is wrong and right is right. And if I have any say so, or if I have any knowledge about it, I don't mind challenging it. I'm bold and I'm honest. And everybody have the right to be treated right, regardless of what you think, or regardless what sides of the fence they're on, or where they come from. Everybody deserves to be treated right, treated fair. But I just came on here to let you guys know to be patient. Keep being you. Keep being you. And sometimes you want revenge. And sometimes you want to, you don't want to help. And sometimes you want to turn a blind eye. And sometimes you don't. If that's who you are, and be who you are, it all will pay off in the end. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys is don't change who you are to fit in, because baby, you was never meant to fit in. And I thank God every day for my boldness. Sometimes it's scary, sometimes the unknown scares me, but baby, the things God brought me through, and the places that God is taking me, man, I can't even put it into words to describe the feeling. But the fact that she had the nerve, and our history is not the greatest. It's not the greatest. And still to this day, every now and then, she throws shade. But Lord, thank you. Because you said my enemies will be my footstool. And in due time, I promise you guys, it will pay off. So don't always look for people to clap for you or to pat you on the back or give you a praise report, or people that just put your name in lights, because can't nobody do it how God would do it. So keep being you. Keep being honest. Keep being faithful. Keep standing up for the people who scared to stand up for themselves. Keep doing that. And baby, whatever they do to you and say to you, take it to God. He will fight all your battles. I promise you. You all have a blessed day and Happy New Year.